I have to admit, this is a great way to break my sick leave. So I'm very honored, and I'm going to take just unlock my computer here. There you go. So what I wanted to do today is to share a little bit what we have done at the Global Fund in terms of a campaign that we just finished. It is not perfect. It is a way for me to share a little bit the experience that we have had with using social media in order to influence social change, in order to get people's attention to challenges, global challenges. So what I'm going to be sharing with you is basically, I think that we can go to the next one. What we can do already is, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do. So the Global Fund is this financial institution that gets money from the G8 countries, a lot of money. Oh, wait, just like pause it for a second.
We are all connected, intricately.
There you go. We're all connected, and that's actually the message that we want. No. The Global Fund basically is this institution that is a financial institution that gets a lot of money, a lot. We have actually to date got $20 billion to fight only 3 diseases, AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. We're very focused, we're very successful therefore. We have saved in 8 years 5.7 million lives, and that's very, very encouraging for an institution that basically is trying to prove results, where we say, no. Humanitarian and aid development and so on cannot be inefficient anymore. You have to be results oriented. If your country, Switzerland, France, is giving money, it's also because they want to see the results. It's not only to be eaten up by the huge institutions, and I used to work for the UN, so I can say that. For the huge institutions where you have so many issues all interlinked that it's hard to break down. Now, AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria are easy to isolate. If you wanted to tackle nutrition, you have to work on if you wanted to tackle, for example, diarrhea, you have to work on water, nutrition, agriculture, so many things to tackle one thing. These ones are isolated, silo-based, so you can kill them straight away. You can actually go to the stupid mosquito and say, no more. This is a world in which we're not going to have people dying of mosquito bites. So you actually can't tackle them. That's why, and one of the main problems we had was AIDS. Everybody is done with AIDS. I mean, we have heard it so many years. It's 10 years of Africa, AIDS, Africa, the fatigue. When are we going to finish? I mean, it's also, you don't hear it anymore. So what we had was a challenge. How do we actually get people's attention again so that we can have the support from the governments to continue paying for a disease that it's been there, but that we can actually really tackle? So we decided to actually go for the one entry point, which is mother-to-baby transmission of HIV, which we put this campaign together using social media so that the new generations could understand it. So what I'm going to present to you right now is a video that basically summarizes the entire campaign that was 5 months, trying to help us actually get the money we needed that we actually collected in October.
We share an earth, which means it isn't just her or them, it's us. Global health is our health, and we all take responsibility. That's why a few years ago we came up with a goal, a plan, together. By 2015, we would eliminate one of the ways in which HIV is transmitted.
Right? All right, well, you can
Thousands of women have already received it. It's working. And if we work together, if we keep going, in only 5 years, we can stop the spread of HIV from mother to child and protect those who can't protect themselves. We are all connected, so we created a campaign to tell everyone about our goal. One of us lent her voice, a passion, encouraging others to lend more than art or fame. They joined the fight. We told our friends, our leaders, our world. In only 5 months, we turned a campaign into a movement. Millions stood with millions to save millions, because we realized it's not about them, it's about us, all of us. saves future generations from HIV. We can change the course of global health. We are making history. Let's take the next step together.
There you go. So as I was telling you, this campaign actually started in May. Geneva is, I have to say, it's really a great place to do marketing. And I don't know how many of you are doing that here, but with the intelligence, the technology, the innovation that is here, we were able actually to make sure that we were able to test and also approach so many of, like the companies like Yahoo and YouTube coming to Geneva. It's actually really easy for, like to put a global movement right now. So what we did actually, I think that if we can move on, the entire purpose of the campaign was to say, one, we need to put this issue on the agenda. No one knows how easy it is to have no more babies born with HIV. No, it's so easy. It takes actually 40 cents of dollar to, to save a baby in his life. We don't have to have babies born with HIV. If they get it later, it's another thing. But we can turn the game, right? So that was actually putting the issue on the agenda. The second one was actually to get the taxpayer support. We needed governments to give us, like the $12 billion that we got in October, and we needed the governments to know that the taxpayers were with them, so that, like they were like, oh, we're gonna cut your pensions, we're gonna, like make you work longer, we're gonna do this, but by the way, we're helping kids in Africa to, fight HIV. You can't do that with populations, like, like in Spain and in so many different countries with the crisis we had in the previous years. We had to actually get the support of the people so that the governments would, would have that taxpayer base of support. And the third one was actually to get the Global Fund into a bigger brand. So the Global Fund is Geneva-based, founded by Kofi Annan, and also has been talking for the last 8 years to say 10,000 people. So how do you actually all of a sudden talk to 20 million people? What kind of a tools? How do you do it in 5 months, or in a year? So what we did was actually, it's something I'm going to show you, just like in terms of choosing the narrative. As NGOs and plenty of you here, at least in the speakers that I've seen work in this field, we're used to see campaigns that make you feel guilty. Why are you doing enough? You could be helping. You work in Switzerland, you have enough money. You can help, like kids here, or do this or that. We actually move away from guilt. We moved away from having pictures of very skinny kids with runny noses and flies in the eyes and make you feel sad. We want to make you feel, like upbeat. We can do this. This is a hope, this is a message of hope. We can actually do this. And you can be part of that movement, and we can make it. So let me show you just like a little 15-second clip of the type of narrative we were using.
My son is Gilbert, he's 3 years old. I was happy he's negative.
She's negative. My baby girl is Grace Atieno, she's 3 years old, she's negative.
Very well. I think you get the picture, right? Like overall, that was the mindset. So, in a positive tone, what we did was actually, I think we can go to the next one. What we did was try to get the issue exposed to as many people as possible, nail it down to have as many people as we could reacting to it, and then have the goal of kind of like the maximum that you can engage with us was to sign a petition, a digital petition. So how do you do that if you don't have a lot of money, but like you have an issue out there? So the way we did that, and those are actually were the results. We went social media. We went social media because that's actually the generation we wanted to talk to. And the generation is not 18 to or 14 to 20 as many people think. The generation that is using now Facebook is actually, you tell me? What is it? What do you think? 30s. Exactly. 30s, women educated. Voila. That's actually our target. We didn't want the kiddies in high school only. It's actually recognizing that this is mainstream, and this is not new media, this is mainstream media already. But from the world of social media platforms that you have there, you can't use them all, right? You can't do all. You can't be perfect everywhere. So we actually went only for a couple of them. We eliminated Twitter. I mean, we had Twitter, but we didn't want to use it too much because we didn't have enough, information to share there. We didn't do as much Facebook. We actually went for two things: causes on Facebook, so that like people would get involved there, and then YouTube. So let me show you just quickly a little bit the kind of content that we produce in order to become a little bit more entertaining and viral, to express something in a, if you want, in a surprising way. So this is the way we decided to show the world that mother-to-baby transmission of AIDS is possible with Amy Winehouse.
Life is a beautiful journey. Don't let AIDS kill it. Free future generations from HIV. If you sign up, we can make it happen on bornhivfree.org.
I mean, we had a number of content, pieces produced, but it was really an interesting exercise trying to get some, like, the surprise element. You wouldn't imagine Amy Winehouse or, these kind of visuals for the Global Fund before, or for an AIDS campaign or something like that. And we went to Amy Winehouse and we were like, we need you on board. I mean, you have a serious image problem, girl. We can help you here, right? And, you can give us actually part of your music, and we can, demonstrate that you care about something else, And so we went, I have to admit, we went to a couple of people, targeted people like that were sort of like, that were surprising. And that the music was upbeat, and what we wanted is actually to have, you downloading that video and passing it on and listening it when you're in the tube in, in London or something like that, and you were actually, this is cool. It doesn't have to be like heavy charity nonsense. It could be something that you could be entertained, right? So, but not only that, you cannot only entertain, you have to educate a little bit as well. So what we did actually was also try to get some educational pieces of content. I'm going to show you one of them just to give you a sense.
AIDS is one of the greatest health challenges the world has ever faced. But finally, we have inexpensive drugs that stop transmission of HIV from a mother to her child. We must provide this treatment to all who need it. Free future generations from HIV. If you sign up, we can make it happen on bornhivfree.org.
So as you can see, honestly, all the content pieces, all what I'm telling you wouldn't be possible without our friends. We went to a number of people and asked them to be our friends and support us in what we were doing. Not only people that have image problems, not only people, but there's a number of people that have a lot of fame and access, that have a lot of possibilities, and and not only celebrities, Tiffany's advertisement for free, all of that, but also, having the support from the platforms itself. So that when we were producing pieces of content, they were not just lost out there without no one actually being exposed. So we had actually YouTube, for example, pushing our campaign in a major way and doing very innovative ways so that we can talk to the people. For example, let me give you one example. There's the first live stream concert in Europe was done with YouTube filming a Paul McCartney concert. So we were like, okay, you want a concert to be live streamed in YouTube, right? That's what you want. You want to enter the music business, right? So film it, but let people, if they want to see it, if you're in London, if you're in London, you can go to the park. But if you're not, if you're in Geneva, if you want to see it, you can come and watch it straight from YouTube, or you can come to my website, Born HIV Free, and watch it through YouTube. So that everybody that wanted to see a little bit of Paul McCartney had to come through our campaign. It was a little bit of, diverting the traffic, but it worked so much. We had 2.5 million visits on one day just because of this kind of experimental, trying to get, some attention. So I'm going to show you the way that they were presenting it. And this day and night for a week in all the like European capitals, you can imagine the type of traffic we got. I mean, as a campaign, as a non-for-profit, without any money to do this, it was beautiful. Just having like Paul McCartney being exposed there, talking about born HIV-free, saying that it is possible, actually making it cool. That was the thing. Making the possibility of a transmission of a disease that has been there forever, making it cool. So I think that you got, like the idea. We did a number of these kind of things. And because I don't want to take your time too much, I think that you can go for all of them. All of these campaign started in May, and the final decision was the UN General Assembly, the summit in which all the decision makers were there. What we wanted to do is actually to create a bubble for these people to think, these guys are everywhere. It is, like I see mother-to-baby transmission, like in the radio, in the newspaper, in the office. So as you can see, like that video that is running, or should be running actually, exactly that video that is running, during the UN General Assembly, we basically located where were the points in which the leaders were going to be walking from the UN General Assembly to their hotels or to the Clinton Global Initiative. And we basically put people on the street, like saying, we can do this. And, like we had pieces of advertisement here and here. I mean, it was just to give a sense of capturing the attention of not only the people, but also the decision makers, that the people were there, so that they can understand that they have to listen to what people are saying. Like people were supporting this. So I think that what we did finally was actually consolidate all those signatures in one big book that was exposed to Ban Ki-moon and was used to, to give it to the G8 a couple of days before what they call their pledges. Although I don't want to say again that this is perfect. For us, it was a very interesting way to enter global challenges, social change through social media. It is absolutely, like the beginning for our world in the humanitarian and aid development world to be using these tools, but it actually proved for us that it was a very powerful way to move the agenda forward. It's not only to have chats and conversations or to share information, it's also to move people around to do more things. So Eve asked me to just mention at the very end what we're doing. I think that what we want to do moving forward after the campaign is over is to continue actually creating those kind of groups. We have a project that is an opera that will be requiring a lot of support from young people to actually find out the connection with high art. We're going to do La Bohème, which is about one girl that dies of tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is not an old disease that, like we all think tuberculosis is kind of like gone, but it's actually very current. It's actually not very known, but it's going to come back. And so that's what we want to do. We want to also make sure that with the knowledge we got from this campaign, we can share it with different organizations about how to best utilize social media for social change, but also how to put pressure into big corporations that are having, like the Facebooks and all these new organizations, so that they take a little bit more social responsibility and not only in donations, but also helping out in guiding people to best use their platforms. Thank you very much.